Welcome back. I'm playing Ash of the Gods Redemption, and last time we had an abysmal play with our other campaign, but now we're switched back to these guys. I started to review some of their dialogue, so we'll continue on. So Shanette is dangerous even out of combat. She is selfish, ruthless, and deceitful. You should get to know her better. You're the only one without hope in your eyes. Are you just following the wind? Did I read hers already? I don't think I read hers, did I? This free Parisian is the misbegotten daughter of the servants to the temple court and the temple barracks, but was banished for mysterious reasons connected to the deadly mutilation of several temple warriors. She may not legally own real estate. Currently, Shanette is under the supervision of the temple service of the fourth congregation of the capital, and is referred to as a harlot who must pay protection fees and undergo monthly inspections and chastisement. She has a criminal record of accusations of assault and refusing to render intimate services paid for. She was incarcerated and punished physically in a cold ward. Due to the temple chancellery of the Gordon's request, she is enlisted in the third congregation of Gordon as scheduled for execution. She is currently under supervision. Her papers have been taken from her. What good is hope? You want to know the truth? I murdered an important temple servant, ambushed him, and slit his throat in revenge. After that, I got myself into a brawl, and they threw me in the dungeon. If not for the reaping, I would have walked free already. If you don't need hope, what do you fall back on? Where did you learn to fight? Were any of your ancestors icon? What suspends a bird in the sky? Nothing. I'm just like that. If you get high enough, you can spread your wings and fly above your above your troubles. You only need to look down time to time. If you see some prey, you dive, grab it, rest on a rock, eat it, and then go back to the skies. What do you see from up above, so you don't have a nest to come back to? An icon warrior who doesn't know where he's going, and me, a brainless woman following him, and blood that blankets the earth like an autumn frost. I'm just like you, icon. Your eyes are similarly narrow, but how else do we look alike? Not giving a shit about others, or myself either, to be honest. Where did you learn to fight? So you've noticed my skills. I studied in the same temple as Kendi, but in a different way. I saw her there quite often, mostly on all fours rather than studying. Even when studying, she was ready to spread her legs at any moment. I'm not blaming Kendi, I'm just explaining that I'm not like her. Who are you then, Shanette? I was taught what Kendi learned the hard way, and more. They were saving me for something special, turned me into a killer, a mistake. They taught me various tricks, and the mysteries of the bedchamber, poisons, knives, special strikes, many things. I was a good student. Why would a temple acolyte need such skills? That I don't know. My mentor said that true power isn't just about strength and station, it's your sting, and the stinger needs sharpening. Were any of your ancestors icon? What do you care? Are you surprised that icon seed spreads without the written consent of your council of elders? Are you trying to control another man's seed, as you do your own? You could acquire protection on the Isle of Shadows. Frisia pales in comparison to what I've heard about your island. Who are you trying to entice, a female breeder or a piece of meat for tempering your blades? Do you believe in those old wives' tales? It's better to overestimate the danger. Such mistakes are more forgiving. That's enough talk. I don't trust you, Shanette. What good is belief? You can't spread it on bread or wrap it around your shoulders. I see right through you, and I'm happy with what I see. It's useless to seduce you, but you won't betray me. Roar? Roar? The impulsive Palin is the last person you expect to see lost in thought. Why is he so wistful? What troubles you, Roar? A Palin, his papers grant him the right to live in his Ida, according to the port logs of Perta and Radu. His death was sought by the Palin tribes for crimes against the northern leader and his wives. Reportedly, this wanted man was seen working on merchant and patrol vandal ships, as well as the city guard of Jibu and Golda. His suspensions and imprisonment for boozing, property damage, and perjury are mentioned in the porks of Ekinus, Isa, Oda, and Jera. More than once he was subjugated to corporal punishment for molesting wealthy women and for hiring and then paying harlots. He escaped from the prison in Perth. He also fled the coast. He fled the coast watches of Isa, Oda, and Jera. He is wanted for injuring a port toll collector in Radu. Those who suffered at his hand describe him as an incorrigible liar and braggart of outstanding strength and surprising bravery. He blames his misfortunes on his forgetfulness and his insatiable taste for alcohol. You can tell that I'm troubled. It's many things, actually. I love the skin of Palian firewater and agreeable women without a sword, and the sea. I really miss the sea. What does the sea mean to you? Fire courses through your brains as a Palian longship warrior holding oars cuts through the waves. You become possessed by the many-armed sea god. You don't feel the cold, wind, or exhaustion. The sea is life. My isle is surrounded by the sea. The sea. I'd like to see an island that's not in the middle of the sea. If you're gonna call any plot of land surrounded by a freshwater an island, we're done talking. Seawater can't quench thirst. Just don't say that to a Palian. For many of us, the sea provides us food and earns us our drinks. No one speaks ill of the sea. It's full of dangers, yes, but it's not evil. So you have a hard time without agreeable women? Some men want women to scream and resist, but not me. I occasionally cheated to get what I wanted, but I'm not proud of it. Why would you cheat? What are you proud of? That's some question. I don't know anymore. There was a time when I took pride in my Radonian steel axe and in my broad shoulders, and I make women moan in pleasure beneath me. Oh, I can sing well. What do you take pride in? Pride isn't familiar to econs. They see it as a diamond-studded buckle on a worn belt. Excessive. Define pride for yourself, and you'll know that I'm right. You already do. How do you plan to kill the Frisian commander? By hitting him on the head with my axe. That's my trade. I frighten off stalkers and help settle debts. This job just fell into my lap. They issued me a license and promised to pay me well. You can't earn much without a license these days. Weren't you afraid of his guard? There's no reason to be afraid. Imagine they're rowing in the middle of a storm. You're drenched in a cold water. The boat is about to flip over. When's the right time to be afraid? It's stupid to fear the storm before it comes, even more so once it's over. It's the same story with that commander's guard. You must consider the danger. Your abilities may not be enough. Even an icon knows better. I don't know what icons think, but Palians have a saying, if you're not strong enough, be daring. Palians are born daring, and the gods gave me an extra helping. It's time for me to go. I hope you see the sea again. It's easy as pie. You can pick any brook and walk downstream. Sooner or later you'll come to a river, and rivers flow into the sea. No problem at all. And what if the river flows into the great abyss? Then you had a run of bad luck. Doom. This Frisian picks pebbles from the road. Some he tosses back, other he keeps. What are they for? Why are you collecting pebbles from the road? Yeah, I read his stuff already. That's for curiosity's sake. These lands are rich lands. They only ever mine silver here in the foothills of the Silver Mountains, but this sparkling gray stone is galena. That orange one over there is iron ore. That one's coal. It's kind of soft, the soft kind. You know about this too? I'm savvy, you know. I got an eye for detail. When learning different trades, I examine the skills I learn from every side. Not to brag, but the crew of a Gordon ferry was rather upset when I got transferred to repair the machine in the Galleon tunnel. You'll be fine in Burkana then. I'm still a long way from Burkana. We'll see what happens. I doubt there's work to be found during the reap time. I'm wondering what to look for. A woodcutter's axe or a stonemason's hammer. Choose the sword. You can't go wrong with the sword. There are other wonders in the Great Abyss. You served in the army? Everyone knows it. There are exposed gold veins, but also poison vapors, you know, from above. You see gold surrounded by corpses. Some held cloth over their mouths, others wore sacks or glass jars on their heads. All just useless gimmicks. You research your head to the flame like Maz. Why don't you think up a solution? I tinkered with one idea. You need to set up a crane with a pincer that folds its jaws together when lifted. Then you could pull something out. You need a really strong rope, though, and preferably no arrows stuck in your back. Forging such a pincer isn't the problem. You'd have to wait for your pincer until after the reaping ends. You served into the army? So what? We're all bound to service. We were fed, issued a sword and armor, and handed over to a commander. Yes, I served, but I wasn't in the thick of things. Were you lucky? What was in the thick of it? Maybe I was lucky, not because I didn't get killed, but because I didn't have to kill. I've got a feeling that'll change on the way to Burkana. Maybe we'll chat later. I want you to know I hope you reach Burkana, Doom. You're funny, Icon. I didn't think you hoped for anything. I guess I'll make it then, if I'm lucky. Swarty. Swarty is one of the few people who is always busy. Even when camping, she's mending her clothes or checking her bowstring. I notice you mending your clothes. Are you good with the needle? The emancipated daughter of a Vandal slave woman and a Frisian merchant. The census of commoners and temple records notes she was a free commoner with no land or property to her name, placed under the supervision of the temple service of the fourth congregation of the capital. Labeled as a harlot, she must pay protection fees and undergo monthly inspections and chastisement. Swarty has a record of being taken into custody due to accusations of petty theft and assault. She was scheduled for execution, currently under supervision of papers. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as everybody else. Do you think women like me are only good in bed? Everyone makes a living the best they can. What else can you do? If I offered you a finger, you'd take the whole arm, wouldn't you? Banter is nice, but there are other things to do. What else can you do? You just looking for company or choosing a wife? If you want a quickie, I'll agree. We'll agree on a price, but I won't marry you. I can't marry a foreign woman without the council's permission. What did I ever do to you? I feel like she will not like me answering that, so I'll sound like a little... That's always the way, isn't it? Every asshole asks, what did I ever do to you, instead of making any effort to do something nice. Everyone makes a living the best they can. Oh yes, you toil and bend over backwards to keep yourself fed. If you want to live, you'd eat shit and say thank you. You're making fine stitches, I see. Are you ready to toil away with a bow slung across your back?
Ooh.
I do everything properly. If we've no shortage of men, I've had no shortage of men on the Gordon Wharf. One of my great-grandmothers was a vandal. I have my father's looks and my mother's temper, though I have to admit my father abandoned me, or my mother was just a slave. I'm just grateful he gave me emancipation documents. If you offered it, I figure you'd take the whole arm, wouldn't you? Depends on the pay, I've heard. Various things. I'd think twice if I were you. Even a slave woman's patience has its limits. You're no longer a slave. I'm emancipated. My father gave me freedom, but no money. I guess I should be happy he let me keep my dress. He gave me my documents, but the Parisian guard took them away for minor misconduct. Mentor's nice, but there's always things to do. It's your life, Swarty. I wasn't thinking anything else. Put this eye, and with that, I'm thankful. Even a woman like me prefers a true word to one that's kind or rude. Bola, when you make camp, Bola is known to pick herbs and brew them in a little pot. Hopefully she doesn't poison your companions. I saw you brew something in a little pot, seasoning it with herbs and ashes. Who's that brew for? Former slave, regiment, free woman, brought herself out of slavery. I don't think I read this one. Occupation harlot. Assigned to the Fourth Temple congregation in the capital, where she is labeled to pay a fee and undergo monthly inspection and chastisement for her professional activity. Bola is misbegotten woman of Brahmin roots. Identity of her father is unknown. Her mother was forced into slavery. Guard service records show accusations of stealing, contradiction, and relieving herself in an affluent nobleman's courtyard. She was incarcerated in a cold ward and received corporal punishment and monetary penalties. She filed 11 charges of rape, but all were denied. Documents of the Third Congregation of Gordon mentioned her among those scheduled for execution. Bulla remains under supervision. License not issued. Don't worry, Icon, it's not for you. I haven't decided who it is for yet. It's a love potion, but it's not the kind that affects the heart. This one invigorates the loins, and I know what to do about that. I learned a thing or two in my time. What if someone else uses your potion? Where'd you learn to wield a spear? Who else? What else can you do? I'll fill a flask and keep it on my chest. Or did you mention exploiting the lust of others? I'll give you a drop. I'll give the drop to some rich Brahmin and he can hump whoever he likes. And he'll come back to me for a second drop. Where is your mother from, Bola? Wistfully. I know very little of her. I believe she was a slave from Jabona. But the Jaboans sold her to the Gels, so I won't look for any family roots in Gaboa. A clean past leads to a clean new life. What if someone recognizes you in Bracana? There are potions for that too, but in truth no one recognizes me. I wouldn't even recognize myself in the mirror. When I change my name, I sever my last connections to my foreign life. Where'd you learn to wield the spear? A good person taught me that you must do your best to survive. An attacker can wrest a knife from you, and the same is true of a bow or a sword. Spears and sticks, on the contrary, are always handy. You can grab a shovel, a hoe, anything goes. You never know what might save your life. Was it a soldier who taught you? It was an old man, a Frisian veteran. I rented a room from him. I didn't bring company there, of course. I cooked him meals in exchange for lessons. I was taken when he died. You can always tell a good teacher from his students. Like seeing a room's interior through a clean window. What else can you do? Other than impaling myself on other shafts and impaling the enemy in my spear, Are you proposing to me? If you must know, I can do almost anything. Cook, clean, sew, and knit, cure simple wounds, set bones, read, write, and bear children. At least I think I can be a mother. I have not tried yet. I'm sure you'll attempt later. Eyes glistening. That's what I'm hoping for. It's not just for hardship's sake, but to have a living being that reflects my affection. Do you even understand what I'm talking about? In a low voice, everyone has a mother. Not even in icons are forged in the smithy. Well, good luck to you, Bola. I could use some luck and patience. A girlfriend of mine taught me to be patient. I imagine being trapped under a rock slide. Imagine being trapped under a rock slide, she said. Part of you can't help but rejoice at being still alive, although truthfully, more often, I felt myself stuck under a filthy sack. As long as you don't end up inside the sack. Kendi, if not for you, Kendi would lead them if she survived without you. That is. Why are you going to Burkana and not Vandalia? Did I read her stuff? Former citizen, now prisoner of the Gordon Stockade, was a temple slave who climbed out of poverty using her good looks, strength, and soldiering skills she acquired in the temple courts. Until recently, she served as a guard for hire, a master of the mansion guard, and a confidant. I'm proving she's... Oh yeah, I read this one already. What's in Vandalia for me? I'm Parisian despite the color of my skin. My grandfather was from Baldar, and you know what happened to Baldar. Your fighting style is unusual for a Parisian. I didn't learn my skills in the army. I fought in the temple arenas. I wasn't alone, Icon. Believe it or not, temple harlots are allowed to do many things, especially if we disguise our whims with levity. The price for my schooling was real, however. How did you imagine to escape the ranks of the temple harlots? I gambled, defeated 5 temple servants, and winning my freedom. They wouldn't have honored the bargain, but it just so happened that the Primarch was looking for a reason to take them down a peg. I had obliged. How much did you bet? And where did you get the money? I didn't have any money, so I bet my life. Agreed to being tortured. On top of it all, the temple servants sharpened their knives, fighting over who get to peel off my dark skin. Are you a Vandal or Parisian faith? What got you into trouble? Love did. Take it or leave it, the temple issued me a bodyguard license. I was quickly hired, and my client started humping me straight away. And I, fool that I was, grew quite fond of his wife, so I put up with him even though I knew he'd end up paying for it. The heart wants what it wants. Oh, you can tame the heart, I just didn't want to. I grew too comfortable and got soft. What good would another stinking hog do me, especially after all I've been through at the temple? His wife betrayed me. It turned out that she just wanted to get back at her hubby for favoring me over her. And she got back at him? Looks like it. She arranged for him to catch us together. The rest is simple. Anyone tries to kill me, I defend myself, and his wife is a rich widow now, and I'm here even though I could have ended up on the rack still. Are you a Vandal or Parisian faith? Neither. I believe someone watches over all people but without a specific purpose. God or gods don't care about us. It'd be even better if they forgot about us completely. You're a free woman, I see. I've always been a free woman, even though I had every orifice subjected to the temple's lechery when I was young. Nice talk. I want you to know that I'm relying on you, Kendi. Whether it makes you happy or not, I'm relying on you too, Econ. It's nice to work without the usual sniveling and whining. Bunch of damaged people. Alright, everybody's leveled. I don't think I have any new cards, do I? Reduces health by 20 and energy to a random So that's actually not great. Whereas drain is much better. Alright. Yeah, see, all these things are just too dangerous. Could easily kill me. Alright, so the Cursed Ravine takes me to the Black Temple. We can do the Kimra Path, or the Woden Road. That'll take me to a mine. Rumored that many missing merchants and travelers have found horrible death. The Red Market. Named for a stretch of clay desert that becomes impassable. Fighting and killing is prohibited there. That might be good to try to get more Strixes. Made of. It warms in summer and becomes icy cold in the winter. Temple service administered to the cloth. Sentenced to life in prison or death for various transgressions. Alright, let's try to go down the Kimra path. Trying to get to the Triple Menhir. Crete walks behind you, struggling to stay on her feet. Her eyes have darkened and her feverish brow is hot to the touch. You keep an eye on her. The Reaper's curse may be killing her. You halt, noticing a small party of gals on the road ahead. They drag a young woman. They drag a young, dark-skinned monk behind them with a rope. The mountain dwellers trade slaves, but no one in Phrygia will buy a temple servant. I don't think they're going to sell that lad as a slave, Candy explains. More likely they're taking him to a Gallan altar. They'll still just throw a chant their songs and wash their faces in his blood. That's how they worship their god. Shall we interfere? Attack the Gels, risk negotiating with the Gels? Yeah, let's attack them. You recall Reed's words about a shortcut which reveals itself when blood is spilt. It'd be a waste to pour blood onto the Gillian altar, and you have to do something about the Gels traveling ahead of you. Ah, shit. Nah, let's just attack them. I could try negotiating, but they're going to tell me to pay, and I don't want to pay for anybody. Let's just attack them. As you draw near their Gels, a boulder rolls down the slope. The Gels turn, see you, draw their weapons, losing the element to surprise you. Just have to make the skirmish a bit longer. Overall, a negotiable hitch. Alright, so I got quite a bit of ranged guys. I wish I had people that did a little more damage. I'll try it with these ones, but they're just so... I need a front line is the issue. I don't think she has the ability to heal, does she? She's got the stun, which requires energy. She can destroy defenses, which is nice. Increases your defense. Increases your energy. Oh yeah, she's got that ability, which is actually pretty nice. Part of me wonders if I shouldn't give these guys another chance, though. Because every time he kills somebody, he gets the healing ability. Ah, he's got a counter. Excellent. Alright, now I just gotta weaken this guy down for his health. Nice. +1 attack for archers. I definitely will gladly use that. In the aftermath, you approach the monk you saved. He looks around frantically, wary of his newfound freedom. Who are you? You ask with a tilt of the head. Alice. The monk mumbles apprehensively, a silly smile on his lips. My name is Alice. I'm traveling from Menhir to Menhir at the behest of the Temple of Divine Wrath. Do you know where the Gales are taking me? You cut the monk's rope to the Galen altar where they would slice open your throat. You reply, I saved you. Your life belongs to me now. You'll go where I tell you, to the Triple Menhir, that is. You might be useful. Rest assured, I will do your bidding, the monk mumbles apprehensively. Don't let my young age fool you. I can heal, and I know some temple enchantments against evil. Kendi gets your attention. Reet's not getting up. She's feverish. She's barely alive. I'm afraid we might lose her. Ask Alias for help. You signaled Alias, who rushes to Reet and examines her. Her life is on the line. She's suffering from a terrible curse. Even the Menhir won't help, though I can't say for sure. You'll have to fasten a stretcher to carry Reet. You mentioned the Triple Menhir might help her. You need to hurry. Alright, well, let's level up here. And got a nice little item from my archers here. Actually, I should probably give it to you since you're a higher level. Alright, let's get you walking in health. Yeah, so you're just a straight healer. Down, we'll get you more health. You can get more attack.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can get that leveled up again. I think that's everybody. Yep. Good. Oh, new discussion topic here. Elias is hiding something. A vandal from Phrygia, a monk far from home, all by himself. You were on a pilgrimage, weren't you, Elias? Why are you alone? Were your companions killed? Frisian monks don't normally travel alone, and you're not when not in Phrygia. Unless they're punished, my penance is to visit 10 different menhirs and spill my blood at each. It's a punishment for expressing my impure inclinations. This young, dark-skinned lad decided to devote his life to the worship of the gods, which are foreign to his people. Alice comes from a large Vandal family, which had to leave him in service of the Temple of Divine Wrath as payment for the Temple Decima. He's one of the few that upholds the good name of the Wandering Monks, otherwise associated with greed and vice. Years of humiliation and strict regimentation almost made him a cripple, but he served as means of awakening the bits and pieces of the magic skills of his shaman ancestors and learned how to be patient and persistent. He was put under observation of the Holy Inquisition and is subject to annual confirmation by going through Lesser Torture Circle. He is not eligible for promotion of any kind. So how many menhirs have you already visited? Just the Triple Menhir. It counts as one. As far as I'm concerned, the menhirs in Phrygia don't count. Will you carry on with your pilgrimage? I'm considering it. They say that when you're a monk, you're always on a pilgrimage, even when you never go anywhere. But I'm no longer certain that I should pour blood on the sacred stones. What can stop you? I was punished for asking the Primarch how prayers for Phrygian prosperity can possibly align with executing Phrygian people, and how the gods' mercy factors in. He didn't reply. Why did you become a monk? It wasn't by choice. My parents handed me over in lieu of paying the temple tithe. I had no choice. Vandals have difficult lives in Parisia. Despite all the hardships, I'm not complaining. Everyone chooses their own paths.
No.
Tell my parents about it. My mother drowned in tears because of me. My father destroyed his body with manual labor. Did you actually choose to be what you become? I could have chosen death. I'd have chosen death if I'd have been the only one to die. Are you hiding anything from me? Do you want the details? Once a month, they bring young women to the temple to help monks release their tension in their loins. I personally wasn't interested in the female body, which vexed the Primarch. Is he strict? I could have earned forgiveness. All I had to do was go to his cell and commit the very sin he'd accused me of. Why didn't you do it? Wasn't he your mentor? I'll answer your question, though I expect you only asked it to mock me. I don't know your temple's customs, but the fellow acolytes could seek the Primarch's favors, even the ones who preferred women. My friend's death is his fault. I would have never sink to that level, however. Well, pray that the gods grant us luck when you have time. What do you ask for when you pray?
Oh!
I pray to strengthen my resolve. My ancestors, Vandal shamans, disproved of asking the gods for anything a man can achieve on his own. Alright, well, let's keep rolling here. Yeah. I did not understand that Strix is going to be such a short thing, and you keep looking back to Reed, who quickly declines until she becomes too ill to continue. Her lips whiten, her pupils widen, and a bluish web spread across her face. You stop to consider your options. The monk, close to fading himself, leans over Reed and makes a helpless gesture. This is not a malady I can cure, but a powerful curse I cannot lift. Reed winces in pain, trying to speak. Her strength fades like water split in sand. She can still talk, but you must kneel beside her to hear the faint whisper. Ask Reed how you can save her. Ask Reed if the Triple Mirror can help. Ask why the Strixes are useless in her case. Ask how you can save her. This requires a special remedy that we don't have, Reed whispers, or a miracle, but those never happen. You have to lean closer. Reed's voice is so faint that you must barely brush your ear with her lips to be heard. I know where the icon powers lies, the sacrificial stones, the sacred Strixes. The spirit of 1,000 generations. It's different where I came from. The Kimra have only one stone. Reed closes her eyes. The body becomes leaden. You feel the Strix in the icon's patterns searing in your flesh, the most sacred of which she wasn't supposed to know. The close discarded secret of the Shadow Clan. Reed's voice echoes in your head. You lower the bondage of Reed's dress and discover a bleeding wound in her chest. A gash left by a relic pried out, an amulet now lost, the dent in a perfect body, a scar from the Reaper's excarnation. Give Reed your stone. Try to use a regular Strix. What happens if I give her mine? Give Reed your stone. You bare your left shoulder, feel for only one of the sacrificial stones and carve it out with a knife. It sears your hand, the blood scalds your fingertips. You put the stone into a gash in Reed's body. She jerks convulsively, then lies still as if paralyzed. Color returns her cheeks and her breast steadies. The venomous vestiges of the curse begin to fade. You cover the stone with your hand, holding it inside Reed's body and whispering the ritual incantations to heal the wound. It seems to work. Your prized possession of the Shadow Clan will serve a new master. While you become an outcast, it's impossible to conceal the loss of even one sacrificial stone. Coming to Reed, notices in your fleshly wounded shoulder, understanding draws you. You did it. You weren't supposed to. What have you done? You close your eyes. Don't tell anyone anything. Pull yourself together. We'll keep going, but remember, now I really need to know how to kill a Reaper. You order your companions to set up camp while you dress your and Reed's wounds. You both need a good night's sleep. Whatever happens next, it'll happen tomorrow. The morning comes and you discover Reed's feeling much better. Party injury level decreased by 1. Oh, because I healed. Because a day went by. She's still pale, her hands still tremble, but there's a determined look in her face, her jaw set. You suspect that she has much to tell you, but you're the one to first speak. A detached manner, you knew it. You knew I could save you. Why didn't you just ask me to do it? How could I ask the impossible? I know what the sacrificial stones are. They are the Econ's most secret. Your ancestors' valor is preserved within them. Asking you to give up a stone is like asking you to give up your life. It's not something one asks for. Now, you will never be forgiven for what you've done. How do you know the secrets of the Shadow Clan? The Shadow Clan was founded by the Great Ancestors. A sword fighter like no other, she passed her skills down to the Icon. Centuries ago, she left your island and came to Kimra. She left us too, long before I was born. Looking to the side, did she teach your ancestors the art of sword fighting? She taught them wisdom. You were saying something about a shortcut? There's the roaming Menhir on the very outskirts of the Vale of Mercy. All you need to do is be there when it appears and perform a simple ritual involving the spilling of blood. This will transport you to any of the many Menhirs in Terminum, including those closer to the Isle of Shadows. Weren't you in a hurry? With a cold smile, Warrior Peace is never in a rush. I've heard rumors of the roaming Menhir, which the Shadow Clan consider a fantasy. If they are indeed true, it would explain the fabled Kimra speed. The Kimra have many secrets. Warrior Peace does not seek forgiveness. Warrior Peace does not forsake his teachings, and you just did. I'm grateful for it. I didn't foresee the curse. When I opposed the Reaper, I hoped to survive. What are you hoping for now? I'm hoping the reaping doesn't turn the world into one massive burial ground. The Kimra Path. You see a small palisaded market off the road. The Gallon guards watch the entrance inside the Gallon hunter sell wildfall from the steppe and forest, as well as arms. You're no hunter, but it's hard to resist the pheasant baked in coal. The guard stops you, and one of your merchant tells you weapons aren't allowed in the market. Refuse to disarm. Argue with the Gel. Try to negotiate. You order your companion to turn over their weapons, but say the Icons lose their weapons, they lose their lives, and you don't intend to die. You promise that you won't unsheath your blade in the marketplace, even if begged to do so. After some hesitation, the Gel nods and offers to sell you something. Look at the merchandise. Oh, that's a good one. We're gonna get that. We're gonna buy those and these. Increases defense by 10 to all enemy units and increases defense to all power. Nope, not doing that. Stuns a target. That could potentially be helpful, but I'm not going to spend the money on it. Oh, that could be good too. I'm gonna do it. You back away from the merchant and notice some concerned looks aimed at your weapon. You decide to leave the market and avoid provoking the Highlanders. Alright, oh, not you. I need you to do that. Get him leveled up. Dang it. Why can I not give that to him? It's like it's bugging out. It won't let me do it. Okay, give it to her then. Part of me kind of wants to bring this guy out instead of her, and then I can give it to him and he can be my healer. And then that'll give me one less person I have to worry about. The Kimra Path. Poison Springs. The Drunken Path, the Tipsy Well. Region patrols the water's more intoxicating than wine and leads to addiction that drives people crazy. Nah, let's screw that. Let's go to the hot springs. It attracts lepers and cripples, a breeding ground for infection and gathering point for thousands of hapless men and women hoping for a cure. Oh my god, that sounds terrible too. Well, let's do it. Your warrior wenches whisper amongst themselves and cast glances your way. Finally, one of them approaches you, Swarty. You wait for Swarty's question. Listen, Icon, she yesterday. I want to ask you about the women on your island. First, tell me, do you have slaves? Refuse to answer the question. Describe the slaves on the island. You see genuine curiosity in her eyes and decide to answer truthfully. We have very few slaves. Peasants tend to their fields, women to their children, craftsmen to their trade. We only need slaves to train our warriors. Swarty eyes widen. You mean you kill them? You shrug and try to think of an answer. Tell the truth. You nod. We do occasionally, but it's only in fair duels. Icons have been killed too, but it almost never happens. Swarty frowns. The icons fight of their free will, but these poor wretches. Advisors to the elders look for captive warriors all over Terminum. They say you buy those who are committed to spend the rest of their lives fighting. Swarty looks confused. Suppose such a slave defeated an icon. Would he be set free? No, you answer curtly. He'd be killed by another icon. As you travel through uninhibited lands, unkept trees and bushes line the roadside. Without warning, Reed throws her bow, quiver, and her travel bag down and bolts to one of the trees. Several people lie motionless by the tree, gravely wounded or dead. Reed fusses over them for a while and gets up and signals for you to stay back. She returns carrying two colored braids decorated with strixes that she cut from the corpses. She doesn't say anything, but her eyes swim with tears, her lips tremble, and she breathes in ragged gas. Say nothing. Talk to Reed later. Reed's shoulders shake and silent sob. She keeps looking back at the corpses you left behind. You remain silent. Everyone deals with their own grief, but some burdens can't be shared. You give the Kimmerin about an hour to herself. I know that one cannot bring back the past, Reed says in response to your stare, but one can still see it. One of the men killed near the tree was my childhood friend. He and his companions were murdered by NCs, the very people they came to rescue and free from their curse. Thanks for your silence, Icon. As you wonder how to comfort your companion, she suddenly starts humming the song she did in Wodan. Somehow her voice grows stronger, instilling confidence in all who hear it. Something is happening in the roadside ditch. It sounds like wild dogs have cornered a hog. You hear growls and muffled squeals. You get closer and it's no hog, it's a fat middle-aged Parisian desperately kicking the dogs. He doesn't stand a chance. Your companions try to chase the pack away. Watch, intervene, forbid your companions from helping the Parisian. Intervene. In 2 or 3 quick strides you move past your companions and kill most of the dogs. The rest of the pack scatters, whining. The Parisian showers you with gratitude, but the moment you turn your back on him, he tries to kill you. You turn around, deflecting the Frisian blow, and slice his head off. Seeking gratitude makes you vulnerable, you say. as the head rolls away. Better to not seek it because you can still manage to get some now and then. Search them. Receive gold. Gallon altar. Hungry path. Lone Cliff looks like a menhir, but it isn't. The Galls believe pouring blood over 1,000 years will transform into their own gallon. So I'm gonna run out of resources here. So do I just force it? Or do I go to the altar? I feel like the Kim... Didn't she say there was something over here? I'm gonna check it out. Probably gonna regret it, but... thought they said there was something about the altar. Days lap 1. Smells from the mobile kitchen lead you off the road. You survey an area atop the nearest hill and discover a Frisian camp surrounding a well in a shallow valley. There are 3 tents, several poles, and Frisian pennants. You assemble the area. An assembly area marked by trampled ground, the scaffold for corporal punishment. It's a rally point for Frisian detachment. Jeanette whispers, obviously supplies and ammunition are in those tents. We could sneak through the bush. Those supplies would certainly be useful. You know that you're the only one capable of this feat, but is it worth the effort? Organize a raid. You head to the camp, picking your way through the hillside. Search the leftmost tent, check the central tent, search the rightmost tent. Search the leftmost tent. You creep in the leftmost tent. Apparently it's being used for foodstuffs and water, but for some reason there's also hundreds of empty water skins in a heap. Normally each shoulder carries his own. Examine the water skins. You approach the water skins and discover that they're all sealed and labeled by the temple. You don't recognize the ornate lettering and hear something behind you. Turn around. A wandering drunken Frisian has noticed you. You quickly tackle him and pierce his throat with your dagger. You hope you didn't make too much noise. Search the rightmost tent. Inside the tent, a Frisian commander sleeps in a row of chests. Chests this large could hold a treasury for an entire legion, not just a single detachment. Strixes glimmer on a necklace around the commander's neck. Stun the Frisian commander. He pinches the commander's pressure point, sending him into unconsciousness. Take the necklace and open the chest. You stash the necklace and open the chest. Inside is a wad of documents, purse of string, and an itinerary outlined on a map. You take all of it and leave the tent. Check the central tent. The centermost tent stands on a floor of soft cloth. Inside you are several leather sacks that reek of carrion, and a heap of strange mechanisms covering a tarp. Look inside the sacks, inspect the strange devices. You lift on the tarp to find a stack of guns. You know what they are despite never having seen them before. Steel tubes with mechanism on one side, they're deadly weapons. Disable the weapons. You pick up one of the guns, finding the most delicate parts. You damage the mechanisms. You do the same with the rest. Then when you're done, you turn around to the sound of footsteps. The tent flap opens. You grab the Frisian that enters, break his neck with a quick twist. It's time to go. You carefully lift the flap and exit the tent. You've made enough of a racket. It's time to leave the camp. Your hunches are uncanny. No sooner do you leave, an alarm sounds and a band of Frisians sets out to you. You'll have to fight them. That's fine. I need Strixes. So I guess the question is do I keep her, or do I bring out you instead? I feel like I want her instead. At least she'll be able to survive a hit or two is the hope. Alright, let's see what happens. Oh, I just blocked in my healer. That was stupid. Kill those archers. Shit. Pull you back. Alright, let's put you over here. With the hope that they'll all start charging in on you. Ouch. Oh, did that just heal everybody? Cool. Excellent. Perfect. Easy. Only 8 Strixes. I needed more Strix. +1 to energy, -3 health. I mean, I like to use that ability. This will get you an extra 2 energy on my first turn. Sunburn. That I definitely want. And we have health and energy. I mean, let's do it. It's pretty important that we keep our life up. You can get that. Let's get your attack up. Somebody else level? No, it's just the 3 of you. Alright, Gallon Altar. The road connects the Black Temple and the Gallon Altar. At night, all those sentenced to death to the temple servants are dragged here by the Gals. A man dressed as a junior Frisian commander sits on the rock by the roadside. It's only when you get closer that you realize he's dead. Stiff fingers clasp the hilt of 2 daggers that pierce his lungs through the ribcage. Buzzing flies have been drawn by a sickly smell of decay, the embrace of death, you whisper. Jeanette cries out in surprise and makes for the corpse. You see the Strix-encrusted capped insignia on the dead man's chest and a satchel on his shoulders. It's held tight by a piece of string. The marauders haven't yet desecrated the body. Walk away from the body, prevent the looting, watch him passively. Watch him passively. Jeanette snatches the pen of the dead man's chest and rummages through his satchel, saying, "This reminds you of something your mentor said. Everyone stumbles once in a while. The important thing is to acknowledge when it happens, even if it takes time." It is no coincidence that the warrior committed the ritual suicide, had valuable pendant on his chest and a satchel on his back. Whoever claims them will also shoulder his sins, not a concern to those already cursed, and aren't you all? An hour later, Jeanette asked, "Why did he do it? To cleanse his spirit, his reputation?" You weigh your words carefully. I know one thing. Whatever this Frisian is guilty of, by killing himself, he ensured that his family will receive support and his children will be allowed to attend the temple school. Oh shit. Well, time to accrue some damages, I guess. You can feel every Strix in your body. The sacrificial stones singe the flesh, but preserve your life, only life. You have a small stash of Strixes, but it'll soon be depleted, and the plague will triumph. What's it going to be like watching a companion die? You recall your training You learned to fight, survive, kill, and to rescue officials in your care, yet you never were concerning yourself with saving commoners. Your teachers probably consider it unimaginable or simply pointless. You are sure of one thing: you will not consult anyone before you make your decision. That is what you must do. What you must do is more important than everyone's preference, more important than the lives of others, even more important than your own. Inner peace will guide you as long as you preserve it. Oh, I see. So I need to do one more. I'd actually, well, I suppose it doesn't really matter. The thing that worries me, though, is if I get interrupted, which I'm going to, am I going to have to do another round of damages? A small procession turns into a road ahead of you. Mules and half-dead nags drag two overloaded wagons. Judging by the color and shimmer of the powder in the sack, it's salt. The cargo isn't what interests you. It's the strange-looking vandals driving the horses around here you expect Parisians. Hey, Squinty, interested in some cash? The vandal sitting next to the first wagon coachman disdainfully asks. We're delivering an order to Nakoma, the temple advisor. He pays good coin for salt, which he uses to preserve human flesh and blood. He buys people too, dead or alive. You only need to salt the dead ones, so if you have anyone for sale. Kill the vandals. You shake your head. You talk too much for your own good. I don't know why Nakoma needs so much salt, but he'll regret his choice of supplier when it never arrives. The vandal gives you a scornful look. What do you mean? It never arrives. I'm licensed by the temple. I'm untouchable. You dart between the two wagons and look back to watch the slashed bodies tumble. The warrior of peace doesn't honor the temple licenses brandished by scumbags. Regardless, it'd be a good idea to search the bodies. It's gonna make me pay again, isn't it? Yep. Motherfucker. Yeah. Damn it. You noticed a prostrated merchant near a dry well at the roadside. Several bundles lie near him. He's alive but exhausted. Stealing his belongings wouldn't befit a warrior of peace, but you can't trade with an unconscious merchant. Pour water onto the fellow's face. Bring the merchant to his senses. You ask Reet to help, and she uses some potions on the sleeping man. The merchant awakens a few moments later, looking rather healthy. It turns out his horse fell, and he hit his head. He managed to bring the sacks to the well, but when he saw that there was no water, he got desperate. He's very grateful for your help and gives you small strix for your trouble. You can also trade with him now. Please give me strix. Plus 8 health. Could be pretty good, especially given all my injuries. And I need to save money to buy Strix. Yeah, I gotta save it for Strix. It's too bad though, that was a great item. You set up a camp using the rare moment of calm to reflect upon recent events. Sitting with your hands on your knees, you let the stream of thoughts carry you. Reed fixes her eyes on you as you travel forth. Does she realize what you sacrificed to save her? You didn't simply give up some of your strength and skill. You did something utterly unforgivable, betraying your clan, your kin, yourself. You betrayed the warrior who paid for this stone with his life. He infused to your body with a modicum of his power and skill, yet you never knew his name. His spirit had inhabited many bodies throughout the generations of the Shadow clans. Warriors reminisce. You'll never forget the moment when the priest inserted the sacrificial stones in your flesh. He knew what you would experience and pressed your head to the altar so that you wouldn't thrash and crack your skull open. You were overcome by the sheer terror as another's will wove itself into your vein, but also by another's joy at the realization of immortality and your own exuberant feelings of boundless power. The encumbrance was mixed with horror. Could the Reapers feel the same? The Shadow Clan wisdom says that the Reapers began as ordinary humans, but their transformation overwhelms them with the power and hatred. Why such hatred? They are not brought up in the way of the Shadow Clan warriors. Alright, let's get you up here. Come here. That. Good. Get you here. Good. Excellent. That's what I want. Come up here. 231 Strix. In the aftermath, Ruhr addresses you, Commander Norse. He's done for. The Outlanders cut him and his guards down. He didn't have the money he promised. He tricked me. We should leave now, Icon. The Frisian legions approach from the north. They'll not be happy to find us here. You step on the Witchblade shards. The swords have lost their power with the deaths of their outlandish wielders. Unfortunate, they would have made fine trophies. One of the NC still lives, reports Reet. He's wounded in the skirmish with the Parisians. He's unconscious, but I can heal him. He will help us, trust me. Carmen has a mild injury. You do not have much time, you say coldly, but I will not concern myself with the wounded. You promised me a shortcut, remember? I remember everything and I will not forget, she says. Elias, I'm gonna call it quits here for the day, I think. So I'm gonna quickly level. Alright, let's get that on lower cooldown because I need that to be up. Let's get this going so I can get more energy. You've leveled, so let's get you some health. Get you more health. Get you more attack. Get you more attack. I'm curious to know if this will just heal one or it'll heal multiple. Yeah, it just heals one. Okay. Part of me wants to spend another day just healing. But I don't think I'm going to, given the shortage of resources. Alright, I'm going to call it quits here for the day. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe. Encourage me to post more content for you. Thanks again to the subscriber that donated this game to the channel so we're able to see what it's all about. Have a great day.